The Virtual Grip Network and Bootleg Racing League welcomes you to the Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. Live from the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana, we are about to get underway for race number 3 of season 18, and it's going to be an absolutely exciting night. Of course, tonight's race is brought to you by none other than Gargamel's Kitchen. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentina Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. Good evening, everyone. I am your host, Taylor Burris, and along with me is John Hine. Our producer tonight is none other than Trevor Greenfield himself as we get ready for action here at the Lucas Oil Raceway Park. And John, this track is going to provide a lot of different racing grooves here tonight.
Oh, yeah, it is. This is a really neat and unique track because you can run right up against the wall. Most tracks that these guys go to, they're hugging that yellow line at the bottom of the track. This one here, it's almost like dirt. You're going to ride the cushion around these corners, and I think the trouble spot tonight's going to be coming out of turn 4 because it's really easy to get your car over rotating as you exit that corner and that back step out. So I think we're going to have an action-packed night here.
We are certainly going to have an action-packed night here. Qualifying, of course, is set from the previous race, and then, of course, the top 8 is inverted from the round previously. And as we watch the field finishing up final practice, getting the final warm-ups underway, Steven Spies is currently your fastest in warm-up with a 21.879. Michael Goodman, J.R. Shepard, your top 3. John, we have to also take a look at a lot of things regarding the point standings here tonight. Drivers are coming into tonight looking forward to seeing what they can do in order to go toe-to-toe with some of the veterans and defending champions. But after just 2 rounds completed this season, Justin Morton, Austin Belke are currently your top 2. Actually, scratch that, make that Matthew Thunhorse at the top of the leaderboard over J.R. Shepard and Justin Morton. Currently, as those are your top 3. 48 points is currently held by Thunhorse, but Thunhorse also has to suffer a little bit of penalties after the previous round.
Yeah, it looks like he has a 5-point penalty with an EOL, so he's going to have his work cut out for him here tonight. He's going to be coming from the back.
We'll be looking forward to seeing what he can do here tonight. Of course, J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton, both also strong competitors. Austin Belke, strong run for him so far this season, looking to see if he can get a little bit closer in the championship run. As we will go through here and continue to watch the action as practice is just about to wrap up, and we will give you your starting lineup for tonight. John, anything else we could expect? Who are the ones to watch for you who are going to be out here tonight?
Well, I think the usual suspects, J.R. Shepard, Austin Belke, and I know he's got that penalty, but Thunhorst, he's going to have to, he's going to have to take care of his car a little bit, not use it up too much trying to get through the pack. I do think we'll see him at least up in the top 5 before the end of this is out. But I'll tell you, the guy that's on the top of the pylon right now is Steven Spies, a dirt guy. I don't know if they're going to have to pull him aside and tech that car, but when you're up on that top like that, both him and Goodman are up there, that gives you a little bit of momentum, makes you feel a little good about the race starting.
It is going to be very exciting to see here as we watch the final few drivers get around here with about a minute left to go in warm-up before we get started with tonight's action. Of course, tonight's race is always as followed, 100 laps here or 1 hour time length, whichever comes first here tonight. As we watch some competitors currently work their way around the circuit, there's J.R. Shepard, your multi-time champion in the BRL Super Late Model Series, as he's currently sitting 4th in the time charts, just about 0.08 of a second back from Steven Spies in the field right now. 19 cars currently entered into tonight's action, as there you see Steven, who's currently out on the track trying to log in a few more laps before time expires.
Yeah, and for a guy like Steven, I mean, you talk about JR and Thunhorse, that's what these guys do. They run these late models and other cars on asphalt. Steven's a dirt guy. He's a teammate of mine. 90%, 95% of what we do is on dirt. And it's impressive that he's up here. But, yeah, he's going to need every lap he can get here to get ready for this thing.
Going to be exciting to watch as we see Austin Belke out on the circuit right now, trying to get a few more laps. He's currently sitting inside the top five now as he moves his way up through the field, currently with a 21.967, his fastest time, as JR Shepard goes to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, and you look at the times though, 87, 2187, 2187, 2188. This is going to be a really close field tonight, which means the slightest mistake, you're going to pay a heavy price.
As time has expired, it is now time to give you your starting lineup. Of course, the points from that we saw earlier on screen, that was from the previous round. We'll have updated points for you here very shortly. With that, it is time for your starting lineup for tonight's race. On the pole will be Michael Goodman in that number 28 8-ball Motorsports Ford. Alongside him will be Jeffrey Harden in the 44 machine. In row number 2, it will be Brian Dean and Donnie Moore, who will be in there. And rounding out your top 5, Austin Belke. Justin Morton and J.R. Shepard will be in 6th and 7th. Ryan Seneker holds on to the 8th position. Rounding out your top 10 will be Kurt Smith and Joseph Snyder. John?
And starting 11th in the 87 machine is going to be Todd Liston, and to his outside will be Bruce Pearson. Behind them is going to be the 81 of Joe Segala and the number 80 of Kevin Moody. Starting 15th in the field tonight is going to be the number 10 of Stephen Hilbert, and next to him is going to be one of the guys we saw up the top of the pylon in practice. It's going to be the number 55 of Steven Spees. Starting 17th will be Chris Wolfson, and to his outside the number 7 of Chris Davis. And rounding out the field, as we talked about, having to serve a penalty here, is our one of our point leaders, guys that I do believe he's our former champion too. Matthew Thunhorst in that 8 machine is going to start 19th.
Field line up behind Benny, the pace car driver, as he is leading the field in the beautiful iRacing Ford Mustang. And the lights are going to be out. He'll be peeling off down onto pit road momentarily. And we will get ready to turn these 19 drivers loose for 100 laps here with these powerful super late models. One of the amazing short track cars here on the iRacing service, on a track that's been on the service for quite some time, but still provides some of the greatest racing action here on the iRacing service.
Absolutely, a lot of power under your foot here with these cars, which that's what's going to make it tricky coming out of these corners. Real easy to kick these back ends out.
Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn down on the pit road. Michael Goodman, Jeffrey Harden pacing the field down through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Barney the flag man will have the green flag in hand as we get ready to go racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway. Green flag is out and we're underway. Michael Goodman gets a great jump on the field over Jeffrey Harden, with Brian Dean moving up to P3. Now moving a little further back as caution is out. One car is around as... Don't know what happened. Looks like Steven Spees had some problems with the 7 of Chris Davis.
Yeah, and that looks like a case where maybe Steven was taking a little easy in a turn 1. Chris was on a different agenda there, and they kind of got together. That's real easy to do in these corners. Some guys, driving styles can vary. Some guys want to attack the corner, which means drive it in a little deep. Some guys like to back their corner up, which means lifting off the gas early to try to roll into the corner and then drive up hard out of the corner. And that's kind of looks like what happened there. Steven probably lifted a little early while Chris Davis there wanted to drive it in a little deeper.
It certainly is, and it's a tough break for two very fast cars out here tonight, as they will catch up to the tail end of the field. Stephen Hilbert given an EOL penalty, so he will also go to the tail end of the longest line. Field now back behind Benny, the pace car driver. Michael Goodman was able to get a good pull out over the field now, as he will still be your race leader. Jeffrey Harden will be in second. Donnie Moore moves up to P3 with Justin Morton. Brian Dean falls back to P5 after that scenario, but he's going to come down pit road, which will move Morton and J.R. Shepard up into the top 5 after this.
Yeah, Steven Spees is also bringing his car in after that contact with Davis, and more importantly, contact with that outside wall there in turn 1.
And as the field is currently paced up behind the pace car, we'll get through here. and watch the action here as they continue to go through the field.
Yeah, now both these guys are going to have to race a little different. They're going to have to change their race strategy because here in Bootleg Racing, you do get a fast repair, which means that you basically get a brand new race car, but you only get one mulligan, only one of those. And to use it up on lap 3, that means that car now has to last you the next 95, 96 laps.
Of course, the rules here for the BRL Super Late Model Series as we ride on board with Jeffrey Harden is, of course, you cannot change tires, you cannot put fuel in the car, you can repair damage, and you can utilize that one fast repair. But other than that, nothing else you can do here on this race. And we're going to be double filed back up here tonight as we get ready to go back green flag racing after 5 laps completed. And it's going to be exciting to watch here as we try to get 100 laps in here under the lights at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Pace car driver makes the hard left turn down onto pit road. Goodman, Harden will lead them through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Bonnie the flag man will have the green flag in hand as they come out of turn number 4. Harden trying to get a little bit of a jump over Goodman, but Goodman thinks better of it. Green flag is back out as we continue racing here at Lucas Oil, and they head down into turn 1. It's going to be side-by-side battle for second. Harden goes up to the top of the racetrack, trying to get the run he needs to get around Goodman. Gets right on the back bumper as they go down the back straightaway. Contact between him and the 26 of Donnie Moore as Goodman pulls out to about a car length advantage.
Yeah, he got a really good jump on that start and is able to take advantage, choose the lane he wanted down in turn 1, but there's a lot of contact happening behind him. I think this 19 there, Ryan Seneca, had to make evasive action almost to the inside wall.
One car up into the wall. That's Joe Segala by the looks of it. He'll go down to the bottom of the racetrack and spin it out. Caution is out for the second time here, as it's going to be an interesting night here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. 2 cautions here within 7 laps, as the field will catch up to the tail end of the pace car as the field works their way back through here. As we take a look at the replay, looks like Segala got up into the wall and couldn't really control it. There's the contact right there. And then the 7 of Davis makes hard contact, and another car also collects him that puts him around.
Yeah, really tough to see around cars when you're in a pack like that. And it looked like Joe just kind of misjudged a little bit where that 39 of Joseph Snyder was going to be. And he did the right thing by kind of backing out. And if he hadn't done that, he probably would have turned the 39 into the wall and caused a really big accident. So he fenced it himself. And good news is he can take repairs or even get a new car here.
As we see the 17 of Chris Wolfson out on the track, he was the one who made contact with Joe Segala, who made his way down towards pit road, as he will rejoin the circuit here tonight in that number 81 machine. As we take a look, see what happened to Seneca. There you see the issue was, of course, Joe Segala, who makes the contact with the 7 and then the 17. Seneca was having some problems also there out there on the circuit.
Yeah, it looked like he just got a little loose coming out of the corner, and that's why I was telling you about, you know, if you get, especially on that corner exit of turn 4, if you just get a little bit too much throttle into that car, that back loses all traction, and it looked like Ryan had to catch that car there and keep it from really hitting the inside wall.
He certainly did, as he will now move all the way back to the 13th position. Currently looking through the field right now is Michael Goodman, your race leader. Todd Liston is holding that 8th position, so he will be your provisional pole sitter for next week's race. As we watch on here, Seneca will line up in 13th. We should be getting the 1 to go before we go back green flag racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. 10 laps will be completed next time by, as there you see your race leader Goodman and Jeffrey Harden, who will lead them to the green flag as Benny the pace car driver comes out of turn 3 and 4. Lights should go off one more time before we go back green flag racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Hopefully we'll be able to keep it clean and green here as they get ready to go back racing once again out of turn number 2. Give you a quick rundown of your top 5. It's Goodman, Harden, Morton, Shepard, and Donnie Moore, your top 5 at this point pole sitter for the next race is Todd Liston, currently held on into the 8th position as Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn out of harm's way on pit road. Goodman and Hardin will now lead them to the green flag here as they work out of turn number 4. They're trying to see who can get the better jump as they come out of 4. Green flag is back out. We're underway once again here at Lucas Oil as they head down the front straightaway heading into turn 1. Justin Morton dives it to the inside of Jeffrey Harding, cannot make it work as Harding with the outside momentum gets to the quarter panel of Goodman as they work down the back straightaway. Here comes J.R. Shepard in 4th.
Nice side-by-side battle here for that second spot there between Justin Morton and Jeff Harden there. And it's really tough to be pinched out on that bottom and keep that momentum up, especially on corner exit.
Drivers trying to jockey for position as Shepard and Morton battle for 3rd down the back straightaway. Hardin still trying to hold on to 2nd. How about the 6th machine of Kurt Smith having a good run? He's inside the top 8 as they come out of turn number 4. Look at Morton diving it down below the yellow line to find some extra grip.
Yeah, being on the bottom, it really, helps you on corner entry, but where it kills you is corner exit. Those guys on the outside can pick the throttle up a little bit earlier, and thus they get that run coming out of the corner.
On board with Morton as he tries to diamond the corner. He'll dive to the bottom of the racetrack off corner exit. Doesn't get the run he needs to keep on getting it as the caution is out.
I went into the inside wall there.
That's Bruce Pearson in the 22 Grease Lightning Ford Mustang that loops it around. Let's take a look and see what happened to him.
Just lost the back end. Probably gave it just a touch too much gas. Like I said, it's a very, very fine line. If you want to go fast, and when I say fine line, let's just say you're going through that corner and you're in the throttle maybe 55%. If you go up to 57, that back comes out. I mean, that's how close it is.
Does a great job of not hitting the inside wall here and loops it back around, continues on his way as he'll drop back to the 18th position. Currently 18 cars on the lead lap. Ryan Seneker is 2 laps down. "16 laps completed here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Goodman still holding strong as J.R. Shepard moves up to the front of the field in 3rd position. A lot of exciting things happening here tonight.
A little bit of a rough start for these guys, but I'm sure they're going to settle in here before long and really click some laps off here. And restarts, the tires get a little bit cooler and whatnot, so it takes maybe a lap or 2 for them to get that grip back in, and that really makes those first 3 laps on a restart pretty precarious for these drivers.
Field working their way through the field now as they continue to pace under caution once again here for the 3rd time here tonight. As competitors will work their way out of turn number 4, we should be getting the 1 to go momentarily as things get ready to go.
Seeing these cars here tonight reminds me that I do believe I don't know if it's the trucks or the Nationwide, but they're actually going to make their return here this year to Lucas Oil after not being there and running over at the big track for the last few years. So I'm really looking forward to that.
The NASCAR Series has made plenty of great racing action here at this circuit. A lot of people are looking forward to that. And looking at their schedule for the NASCAR Truck Series, I believe they will be heading back to Lucas Oil on Friday, July 29th. So if you're a fan of the Truck Series, go take a look at them over on FS1 later on this year. Great racing action that will be happening back at Lucas Oil Raceway Park in such a long time. They haven't raced here, but it's great to see them back at it here once again as the field will pace behind the pace car once again. Benny, the pace car driver, getting a lot of laps let in here tonight.
Yeah, it sure is. And, I like I said, I expect these guys to settle down. These are all really good drivers. They all race really smart, and we'll get a lot of green flag laps in. And, once that happens, then we're really going to see these guys probably move around, and you'll see those extra lanes come into play probably, especially throughout the pack where a lot of passing will be going on.
A lot of great passing action. We have a lot of fans out here tonight, here under the lights at the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park. A lot of drivers looking forward to seeing what will happen as we get ready to watch the action once again. Field lined up 2 by 2. We're about to turn them loose here as we're about to cross the quarter distance of tonight's race. Pace car is off on pit road. Goodman and Hardin will lead them to the green flag here out of turn number 4. Goodman with a great jump over the field. Green flag is back out as we continue racing here at Lucas Oil. Great jump through the field as they head down into turn 1 and 2. Side-by-side action between Goodman, Hardin, 3 wide as here comes J.R. Shepard to the bottom of the racetrack. Side-by-side as Shepard sends it in. Race leader as they come out of turn number 4. Big lockup right there for Goodman. He'll lose control, but gathers it back up as here comes Belke through the field.
We got a couple of accidents. Donnie Moore looks like he's in some trouble, and a little bit further back too in turn 3. But what a slide job! That was this isn't dirt, but JR put a nice slide job on there to take the lead through 3 and 4.
He put a big slide job up there. That's a textbook slide job here in the short track racing world that J.R. Shepard was able to do. And he is going to now take over the race lead. Jeffrey Hardin still maintains second. Morton, Belke, Kurt Smith, your top 5. But for your former pole sitter of Michael Goodman, he's going to have to utilize that fast repair after what happened to him as we take a look at the replay.
Yeah, really tough to see if he's just pushing up or he thinks he could be clear and kind of moves up and pinches Donnie into the wall, and it was kind of on from there.
Certainly was the case there, as also another driver, Kevin Moody, involved in this incident. As we'll take a look at the replay once again.
Kevin was in a completely different accident. That one happened even before the one with Donnie Moore there.
It looks like he had some contact a little further back. That's what happened to Moody. As, like you said, Donnie Moore goes up over, or Donnie Moore goes up over the pit wall right there briefly.
Yeah, and then Moody looks like he got a shot from Chris Davis going into the corner and got the back all squirrely and was trying to catch it and clipped Joe Segala, and Joe's having a tough night. He had a really good run in the previous race in the modifieds here, but having a tough go at it here in the late models.
John, talk to us a little bit about the difference between these modifieds and the super late models. Of course, the modifieds have a little bit more grip compared to these super late models, and also, you're able to get a lot more ground cover with just how wide those cars are. But explain a little bit more of the driving difficulties between the two.
Yeah, the late model's a little bit heavier, so when you start to lose the back, it'll snap a heck of a lot quicker than what the modified does. And the fenders, and they're more aero sensitive than what the modifieds are. So if you use that bumper a little too much, that can actually slow you down here. And the big thing is, like I said, though, it's that weight. If you're driving it in as deep as what you would with the modified, that nose is just going to shove out to the wall. So if you're, the good way to drive is always use your visual cues on where to turn in and everything. And if you're using the same ones in in this late model that you used in the modified, you're going to struggle here early on. You're going to have to learn to back those corners up, not drive these cars in quite as deep.
Going to be difficult to see what will happen here. Of course, the tires are so critical here at this circuit with these super late models as we cross over the quarter distance here. Barney the Flagman once again with the yellow flag at hand, the hardest working man in all of iRacing, as he gets ready to double them back up. Benny, the pace car driver, will lead them back to the green flag before we go back to green flag racing.
And just a note real quick, look there in row 3, both Goodman and Donnie Moore got their spots back. They must have put that caution on Kevin Moody.
Must have been the case here as we're getting ready to go back green flag racing. As Benny, the pace car driver, makes that hard left turn out of turn number 4. J.R. Shepard jumps and goes away from the field. We're back underway here at Lucas Oil as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Drivers already trying to work their way through the middle of turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. Great driving by the competitors as they head down the back straightaway, heading into turn 3 and 4. J.R. Shepard continuing his trend of being one of the dominant figures here in BRL competition as we go side by side for second between Hardin and Justin Morton, who dives it down, slides it up, but cannot complete the pass on Hardin.
Yeah, and JR got the win a little bit earlier in the modified race here. So, yeah, he's having a good night.
Side by side still between Hardin and Morton as they continue to do battle. Belke watches on in fourth. Here comes Johnny Moore as well, who's under pressure from Steven Spees, who's now climbed his way inside as trouble for Morton. Gets a little loose off a corner exit, gathers it back up, but still has the momentum to stay out in front of Jeffrey Hardin once again. But Hardin on the outside with momentum as the caution is out. 2 cars around. That looks like to be the 7 of Chris Davis and the 39 of Joseph Snyder. Take a look at the replay here, and John, walk us through what happened here.
Yeah, it looked like Chris Davis got into the wall a little bit on corner entry, just drove it in a little too deep. The car didn't want to turn, and once he got into the wall, it backed him up to Snyder pretty quick. And, you know, your instinct when you're in the wall as a driver, and it looks like that's what Chris did, was you want to yank that car off the wall. And when he did, he made more contact, and that ended up with Segala down in the inside wall and Davis and Snyder there. So tough break there for those guys, but I don't know if any of them have used their fast repair, but if not, I'm sure you'll see them in here to grab them.
You'll probably see that here as the field is now working their way back under caution. I believe we are on caution number 5 here tonight. As 31 laps are completed, we crossed over the quarter distance mark of tonight's racing action here at the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park in Indianapolis. As we'll try to see if we can get this race underway and completed here. We currently ran about 21 minutes so far, so we still have plenty of time to get this race completed before that hour time limit.
Absolutely. And one observation I was making about the line that the number 9 there, Justin Morton, was running, he was driving it in really deep and trying to slide up to take that second spot. But I'll tell you, while he was getting closer to making that work, he was really, when you do that, you are eating those tires up. And I have to think here, he's probably going to stay fast, but at the end of this race, that extra wear that he was probably putting into those tires may come back to haunt him.
Definitely going to be something to keep an eye on here as we watch these competitors work their way through here under caution once again. 31 laps completed, working on lap 32 as the field is getting themselves set up, lined up to go back at it. But J.R. Shepherd, though, going to be one to watch. But one thing, John, we have to talk about is that tire conservation. We're seeing drivers like Justin Morton, Belke diving to the bottom of the racetrack, really using up those tires compared to someone like J.R. Shepherd or Jeffrey Hardin, who's utilizing that outside groove, not putting too much pressure on their tires, but still enough to where it will wear a little bit more evenly throughout the race.
Yeah, and the easiest way to think about, how to conserve the tires is the more wheel you have to turn to get around the corner, the more you're going to use your tires up. So the further up the track you are, you don't have to quite put as much turn into the wheel to get it around as you do on the bottom. But that's another one of the big differences between these cars and the modifieds. So these cars will eat these tires a lot quicker than those modifieds will. So yeah, conservation is definitely paramount here. Is 100 laps and they're not allowed to change them. But one other observation, too, though, look who's made his way up to 7th from the back of the pack.
Mr. Matthew Thunhorse has moved into 7th, so he is in that opportunity to get a top 2 starting spot for the next race. But knowing Matthew, he will fight his way up through the top of the field before this is all said and done. As we're going to go back double file back here, ready to go back green flag racing with 34 laps complete when we come around to take the green. Field now letting the pace car go down pit road. It's going to be J.R. Shepherd and Justin Morton leading them to the green flag here as they work their way through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Who's going to get the better jump as they come out of 4? There goes Shepherd. Green flag back out. Morton tries to follow. Here comes Hardin and Belke as we go by, barreling down into turn 1. How about 4 wide as they go into turn 1? Keeping it clean and green for now as they work their way through. Spees moves up into the top 5 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, remember, he was in a wreck early on with Chris Davis, so he came and got his fast repair, and he's driven up through the field also. So impressive run by Steven.
Great drive here by Steven as he is working his way through the back middle of the corner, through turns 1 and 2, down the back straightaway. Here comes Matthew Thunhorse to the inside of Kurt Smith. Kurt Smith and Thunhorse will do battle for 7th as they continue to go side by side for position. Thunhorse sends it in, backs off. Here comes Kurt Smith with a head of steam on the outside lane. Contact! Thunhorse goes around almost, but it gathers it back up. Big time save by the two.
Yeah, absolutely. Donnie Moore got in a little trouble in front of them, and both guys, Smith and Thunhorse, reacted at the same time, and that's probably what contributed to that contact there. But they both are able to carry on here, and we'll see if Matthew can reel them back in and get around them.
As they continue to see how these drivers will continue to do battle there. You see Thunhorse trying to keep up with Kurt Smith. He's under pressure from Todd Liston in the 87. Michael Goodman rounds out your top 10 as we watch Brian Dean in the 23 machine. And Chris Wolfson, who's having a little trouble further back, working his way through. How about Steven Spees? He's now broken up into the top for now. He got around Belke for position and now sets his sights on Jeffrey Hardin for 3rd.
Yeah, and, again, he's come from the back after the accident. But, I mentioned earlier, he's a dirt guy, and this is a track that really gives a dirt guy a little bit of advantage or comfort because on dirt, we like to ride that cushion, let those cars walk right up to that wall and use the throttle, and you get a lot of that same feel here running the top side around this track.
He's getting a good rhythm in, a good groove in right now on the top side of the racetrack as he gets down the back straightaway. He'll look to the inside of Jeffrey Hardin. No opening just yet as they come out of turn number 4. Belke tries to keep pace with Spees as he'll now go to the inside, shows his nose and sends it on in. Slide job imminent, not going to work this time as Hardin will maintain the outside momentum.
Yeah, now he's got to get up here and defend because Belke has got a great run coming down the backstretch. See if and Steven's got to try the slide again.
Not going to work this time. Belke shows the nose. He's got the outside lane a little bit now. Speed shuts the door on him down across the front straightaway. 41 laps complete as they continue to press on through here in the middle. A little further back, battling also for that 6th spot between Moore, Thunhorse, and Kurt Smith. But this is also some great racing here as Thunhorse slides it in front of Moore, and he'll try to hold on to that 6th position, but Moore powers back on the outside.
And, oh, man, Thunhorse got a great run down the straightaway, able to take that spot firmly away from Donnie. And moving back up, and now it looks like Spees has got a little bit of an advantage on Hardin.
Just barely as they'll go side by side. Spees sends it in a little bit deeper into the corner of 3 and 4. Not going to work. Belke tries to shut the door and get in line before Spees goes up. He's going to go side by side with Hardin. Down the front straightaway, heading into turn 1. Big send down into turn 1. Spees got to slide up, but can't complete the pass as they come out of turn number 2. It's still going to be side by side battle for 3rd.
Yeah, now it's to the point because Belke is up on the back of the 44 there. And I'll tell you, Steven, if he doesn't get this pass made, he's going to lose 2 spots essentially. Oh, he got in front of him there.
He was able to complete the pass. Spees now moves up into the podium position as Thunhorse was able to hold off Kurt Smith and Donnie Moore. And he's on a hard charge right now towards these 3 competitors.
Yeah, they slowed each other down there just enough for Thunhorse really to reel these guys in. He's only a few car lengths back behind Belke now. But, well, when you start dicing it up like that, that slows everybody down. And Thunhorse has been able to basically run qualifying laps, has had the track to himself and running right where he's fast.
Fastest car out on the racetrack as of right now is Mr. J.R. Shepard himself with a 21.899. Fastest driver last time by has to go to none other than Matthew Thunhorse with a 22.148. Really setting the time here as they come across the start-finish line. Still set the fastest lap at last time by, just barely, though, over J.R. Shepard. He is making significant ground on the field.
Yeah, this has been a really good drive for Matthew. I don't really think he's abused his car too much coming up through the pack, and that's going to help him out here as we get into the later stages, second half of the race here.
Drivers remaining side by side for position as they continue on here, watching the battle for them as they work down the back straightaway. Thunhorse is caught up to Belky and Harden for the top 5 opportunity for him as they work their way through the middle of turn 3 and 4. Out of 4, Thunhorse gets a great run on Belky as he tries to go to the outside lane. Belky trying to find an opening around Harding. They're going to go nose to tail through the middle of turn 1 and 2. Spees has checked out by about 3 or 4 car lengths over these 3 down into the back straightaway.
Yeah, now Matthew's got to figure out a way to get around Belky, but Belky is right on the bumper of Harden there, so a slide job's not going to be really difficult because he's not going to be able to slide in front of the 24. If he does that, he's going to wipe the 44 out, so he's going to be in a tough spot here for the next few laps.
Tough spot indeed as we watch on. Belky looks to the inside of Harding, side by side for position. Will Belky send it in deep? Not quite yet. Thunhorse tries to go to the outside as J.R. Shepard gets the cross flags in the air. Halfway now complete as they work their way down the back straightaway, heading back into turn 1. Belky and Thunhorse trying to crowd up Jeffrey Harden to move up into 4th and 5th position.
Yeah, and Belky's basically mimicking what Spees did to get around Harden there. He's kind of keeping him pinned up high on the track, so Belky's able to keep his momentum up as well, and there he is. He's going to pull ahead down the front straightaway, but look at Thunhorse on the bottom.
Thunhorse really sends it in deep in turns 1 and 2. Not going to be able to make it work this time to get around Spees. He'll have to dive it back in through the middle of turns 3 and 4 this time as they work their way through. Thunhorse can't get that opening he needs to get around Jeffrey Harden for position as they come out of 4, side by side as they come across the line.
Yeah, Matthew on his corner exits, he is lower on that track than anybody I've seen run today. He's right on that yellow line as he exits the corners, and that is really giving him a nice drive off these corners.
Looking through the field right now, it is currently Kurt Smith, your provisional pole sitter, holding on the 8th spot in his number 6 machine as we watch Matthew Thunhorse now get around up into 5th. There you see Steven Spees now in the number 55 in 3rd, trying to chase down Justin Morton, who's about 2 seconds up the road, make it 2.2 and closing, as Morton is about 7/10 back from your race leader, Mr. J.R. Shepard, currently as they come across the start-finish line, 53 laps complete. Field continuing to work their way around this circuit currently as they continue on racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Drivers really putting a great job here. This is the point, though, I have to say, John, where the tires start to fall off a little bit more, as we've already fallen just about anywhere between half a second to almost a full second on your lap times when you started.
Yeah, and it's just not that they're going slower, but these guys have to adjust in the car when this starts to happen. You know, you can get down the front straightaway, and where you lifted on lap 5, you're probably lifting a little earlier now because the tires aren't there to hold them into the corner. When you get back into the throttle on corner exit, well, now instead of, getting back into it probably relatively aggressive like you were early in the race, you've got to really tiptoe it and ease back in it. As the laps go on and the tires wear, it becomes easier and easier to lose that back end and spin coming out of these corners.
It certainly is as the drivers continue on to race here at the virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Great drive by all the competitors here in this late stage of race as caution has come out. Just when I thought it was safe.
You jinxed them.
I did jinx them. That is a hashtag blame Taylor moment here tonight as we take a look at the replay of what just happened. It involves Kurt Smith and Donnie Moore, possibly. Yep, there's the contact. Around goes Donnie Moore. Goodman also goes for a slide down through the grass.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's a case that's really tough to tell from there. That could be a couple things happening there. That could be that Kurt just got a better run than he anticipated off the corner, or Donnie might have started to do what I was talking about, losing that back end. And when you start to lose that back end, you've got to lift a little on the throttle to set it back down. And if that was the case, I'm sure Kurt, couldn't react quick enough and got in the back of him. So tough to lay that at anyone's feet. I just chalk that up maybe a little bit of a racing deal there, but when you run close quarters, that kind of thing can happen.
Certainly can, as we see the field now pace back behind Benny the pace car driver. 40 laps to go here tonight, as we see JR Shepherd, your race leader currently. As we see, who is anybody currently going down pit road? Nope, nobody at the moment. So everyone is going to not utilize a fast repair or go down to fix damage to their race cars. But how about Thunhorse now has an opportunity to go up there and try and steal this one away from JR Shepherd, as we're going to go back green flag racing here in a couple laps.
Yeah, this is gonna be real interesting now that we've got them all bunched back up at the front here because both Fun Horse and Spees, they've driven through the pack, sliced and diced their way up here. This is gonna be for the both of them their first real shot at measuring themselves against JR and for Morton for that matter. So if they got something, we're gonna see it pretty quick.
We certainly are, as we're riding on board with Matthew Thunhorse in his number 8 Ford, as we're going to see some great driving angles from him as he gets ready to take the green flag in a couple laps time.
Yeah, and Matthew's going to be on the outside. Steven's going to be in the inside of that second row there. And then both those guys now have to figure out what they want to do here. And the guy that I think is going to be, have the most on his plate is going to be Austin Belkey right behind him, because that Spees and Thunhorst are going to probably try to fight pretty well to stay in the spots they're in. So when they go into turn one, they're probably going to drive it a little deeper than what they had been. And that can make for some interesting moments.
It certainly is, as we go high atop the circuit here, taking a beautiful look at under the lights at this beautiful short track that has provided so many great racing action throughout the years. As the field is getting ready to go lined up 2 by 2 behind Benny the pace car driver, as Barney the flag man will give them to 1 to go signal here tonight, as we get ready to go back green flag racing, coming back to green with 63 laps completed.
Now, we talked about that second and that third row, but that first row, those two cats in that first row have to get their best start they've had all night to even maintain their spots too. So everybody in those first 3 rows are going to be under duress when we get into turn one.
As we watch on here comes the field lined up. Benny the pace car driver makes the hard left turn. Barney the flagman has the green flag in hand. As we get set ready to go back racing, JR Shepherd pulls out, green flag back underway, as we're once again racing here at Lucas Oil. As they head back into turns 1 and 2, they're almost going to go 3 wide as Thunhorse moves up to P4. He gets around Belkey for position now as he tries to set his sights on Steven Spees, and Justin Morton tries to hold on. Spees looks to the inside, shows his nose on Morton. Not going to be able to make the pass work as they come out of turn 4, but they're going to go side by side for position as Thunhorse with a head of steam works the outside.
Yeah, Steven Spees almost lost the back end coming out of that corner, and that killed his momentum down the straightaway. Open the door for Thunhorse, though, on the outside. Take advantage and maybe take that third spot.
He's going to go to the outside, hold his line through the middle of the corner as they come out of turn number 4. Thunhorse with the big head of steam as they go side by side. Spees can't do anything this time. He will drop back possibly to 4th now as Thunhorse with the momentum almost completes the pass, finally clears him out of turn 2.
Yeah, Thunhorse is now up to 3rd here, and the next guy on that list is going to be Justin Morton here, and then Morton's been pretty steady all night. The farther up the pack you move, you get, the harder these passes are going to get too. So we'll see what he's got left in the tank here.
Cooler tires are really starting to kick into overdrive as JR Shepherd ran about 2/10 off his best lap of the race with a 22.0 compared to the rest of the field. He is really starting to put the hammer down in these final stages.
Yeah, and you pointed out earlier in the race, JR's been able to run the line and everything that he wants. He's been able to just send it into the corner, don't have to really abuse the car. I think that's going to pay off for him here towards the end of this. And, he's got just a little over 30 laps to hold on here.
30 laps to go as they're getting ready to get that signal here momentarily as they work through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Currently, it's still Shepard holding on to the race lead. Joe Segala, your provisional pole sitter right now. He holds about a half a second, making 0.6 of a second lead over Bruce Pearson as they continue to work their way through there. You see Todd Liston in 11th, trying to get into the top 10 around Kevin Moody. He'll look to the outside of Moody, but he's under pressure from Chris Davis for position. Now he'll drop back to 12th, now drop back to 13th. He's falling through the field right now.
Yeah, he got into that wall about the center of that corner, and it just grabbed him and yanked him back through the pack there. He did a nice job of eventually getting it off the wall, but it cost him, 3-4 spots before he could do that.
Todd Liston has now fallen all the way back to the 15th position, make it 16th position right now. So a tough break for the 87 machine as we'll go back up front to J.R. Shepard, who holds on to about a 0.2 of a second lead as we're now under 30 laps to go.
Yeah, and as a driver, this is such an awkward time to be in the car because, you know the race is coming to an end. You just got a caution. That might be the last caution of the race, who knows? So now you're driving probably harder than what you've done all race, and you're doing so on tires that are nowhere near what they were when you started.
They certainly are not. Their grip level is starting to fade away big time here tonight as we watch these competitors continue to log laps. Dunhorse has caught to the back bumper of Justin Morton. This is going to get exciting. Will Morton be able to hold off Dunhorse? Will Dunhorse find the opening he needs to get around the TDR machine of Justin Morton?
Yeah, it's really tough right now. Justin gets a little bit of a good run coming out of the corner, gets a little separation. It looks like Funhorse is getting into the corner a little bit better, and then it looks like the number 9 there is getting a little bit of a better run coming out of the corner.
A lot of implications here on the line as here comes Dunhorse with a big head of steam to the back bumper of Morton. Down the back straightaway, they're going to go. Here comes, they work their way through. Morton holds strong on the outside. Dunhorse tries to find opening. Spees sends it in with a big send, trying to make up some ground.
Yeah, and the one thing that Funhorse, he's got, Spees is a little bit behind him, so the Funhorse can just concentrate out his front windshield. You got the number 9 there, Morton. Well, he's got JR out front of him trying to catch, but he's also got to watch that mirror. A lot of things can distract you and make it real easy to miss your marks. That 9 is in a really tough spot right now.
Certainly is, as we watch these competitors continue to do battle here. Dunhorse really putting the pressure on, and they have caught the back bumper of J.R. Shepard here in these closing stages.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of that is JR also maybe just managing the gap there and not abusing his stuff unless he absolutely needs to, or are they actually quicker at this point and just reeling them in? It's really tough to tell, but either way, it's going to be interesting to watch these last about 23 laps or so.
The Sonoma, California native that you're riding on board with as he tries to find an opening around J.R. Shepard, the veteran, the multiple-time champion. He'll peek his nose to the inside. Dunhorse and Spees watches on. 4-horse battle for the race lead. We're about to kick off here with 23 laps to go.
Oh, Funhorse got greedy there and gassed it up a little too early, got the back loose, and now he's a couple car lengths behind the number 9 there, Justin Morton.
Morton now trying to find his hole and make sure he can keep on holding on to that second place to hold off and see if he can get around J.R. Shepard with these closing laps left to go in the race. Down the back straightaway, Morton, Shepard, Dunhorse. We still see Spees in the background just a little bit, but not making up any ground on these top 3 as we still watch Joe Segala hold on to the 8th spot. There's Dunhorse out at turn number 4. Spees really trying to find an opening to catch up.
Yeah, and I'll tell you this, these tires now getting a little bit of wear into them, they can get mad at you pretty easy. That's the best way that I can put it. If you go in there and really heat them up too much that next corner, all of a sudden you don't have anywhere near the grip you had the last time you went through there. So these guys got to be aware of that and not get caught out, because if they do, they go in there and all of a sudden that grip's not there, they get into that outside wall and you could go from 1st to 4th pretty fast.
It certainly is a lot of things going on here in these closing stages as we see big slide by Michael Goodman and Chris Wolfs. Chris Davis goes almost around, but they were able to save it, but it's too late. The caution does come out. Take a a look at the incident here, and it looks like Joseph Snyder gets a loop, and with that, they make contact. Goodman and Wolfson almost loop it around.
Yeah, that's a really, really good save. Looked like Snyder kind of straightened Davis back up. I'm actually kind of surprised that I guess a little bit later in turn one there, that the caution came out. Goodman did the same thing for Davis, got into him, got him sideways, and kind of straightened him out. You see that on dirt a lot, but you don't see that on asphalt too often.
No, you certainly do not, and it's going to be interesting to see here what's going to happen in these closing stages as we ride on board with Michael Goodman.
Yeah, it really, really is here. You know, the one guy that's probably shaking his head is JR, but JR, that last restart, got absolutely his best start of the night. He had him cleared and was able to choose his lane before they even got to the start-finish line. So if he can do that again, he's going to be in control once again. But Fun Horse now is going to start on the inside of row 3. He hasn't been there before, but he's going to be able to have a better vision of when JR fires. So he's probably going to be able to get back into the throttle when we come to green before Morton and the Spees will. So maybe that just that little bit, that visual aspect of it, be able to see when JR goes, maybe that's going to propel that number 8 machine into second.
And it's going to be interesting to see here as we're going to go back green flag racing in a couple of laps time here. It's going to be under 20 laps to go. Field working their way down the back straightaway. Currently, still, it is J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton, Matthew Dunhorst, your top 3. Joe Sagala, your provisional pole sitter. 2 cars out of tonight's race. Stephen Hilbert in 18th. Ryan Seneker in 19th.
Yeah, and this next restart, once again, you know, it goes back to that whole thing I was talking about earlier. You're going to drive harder into turn 1 than you have on any start or restart the entire night. Your tires are not going to be what they were. You got to have cars on the outside or maybe on the inside of you. A lot going to be going on here into turn 1.
It is going to be a lot here as you're watching season 18 of race number 3 of the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. A lot of racing action here. Go check out Gargamel's Kitchen today as we get ready to watch the action once again. The pace car about to make that hard left turn next time by. Lights are out on the pace car. We're about to get started here. They're going to line up 2 by 2, and we're going to go back racing with under 15 laps to go here tonight. As the field is getting ready to double them up here once again. J.R. Shepard, Justin Morton leading to the green flag. Thunhorse, Spees, and Belkey, your top 5. Hardin, Kurt Smith, and Joe Sagala, your top 8 as we watch on down the back straightaway. Benny, the pace car driver, makes the hard left turn down onto pit road. Barney, the flagman, will have the green flag in hand as we get ready to watch the action here with 14 laps to go. Field coming out of turn number 4. J.R. Shepard pulls the trigger and goes off onto the circuit. Here they go. Green flag back out here as we return to racing here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. And Thunhorst with a big jump moving up to P2 out of turn number 2. He'll go, clears Justin Morton in for second.
Yeah, what happened is exactly what I thought was going to happen. You know, Thunhorst been able to see exactly when JR fires. You got that split second before the 9 can react, and it gave him a big advantage there, and here he is now in second place.
Here they work their way down into turns 1 and 2. Once again, down the front straight. A big trouble. Chris Davis up and over on his side. Finally lands on all 4. As we are once again under caution for the 8th time tonight, and it looks like Goodman and Davis got back at it again.
Yeah, both those guys have had a rough go at it here tonight, and looks like it might have gotten a little bit worse here as they go into 3.
Looks like Brian Dean and Joseph Snyder got involved.
I mean, turn 1 here is where they get into it, and Yeah, it looked like Goodman may have turned in just a little bit early, or that just kind of caught the 7 there, and the 7 probably thought he was going to go a little bit higher. And man, that's just late in the race where you're trying to get everything you can get, and sometimes it goes bad.
Certainly is going to take a minute as we watch on here, continuing to see the action unwind. Michael Goodman having a tough night at it here tonight.
Yeah, and now these leaders, last time around when we're getting ready to go green, I mean, I was anxious up here in the booth, and I can't imagine what these guys are going through now. All these cautions here right at the end. They got to keep doing these starts. The one guy that's been in the same spot as JR, everybody else has swapped. Spees has been in third. He's now in fourth. And now this time, Fun Horse is going to be the outside of JR when they take the green, but that advantage of being in third and be able to see that leader fire now falls to Justin Morton. So can he get the jump and take back second place?
That's going to be the question. We're going to have to wait and see and find out here, as we are going to be under caution. We're going to hopefully take the green flag with under 10 laps to go, as we're going to see these drivers go at it. But this is going to be an exciting battle. These two championship competitors, these are some of the strongest drivers in our lineup. J.R. Shepard, Matthew Thunhorse will about to lock horns and do battle once again. We saw them get together at Hickory. Will this trend continue this season between the two?
Yeah, well, the one advantage of this track, there's a little more room than what there is at Hickory. So, both these guys are really good. So I don't know that you'll see any contact, but I tell you, I bet you will see some really close quarters racing.
Field now getting ready to go back underway here, as the lights should go out on the pace car next time by. And we'll see who will have what it takes to pry this win away from J.R. Shepard, who's been the dominant car all night long. Well, John, I got to ask you, who have you been surprised with how well they've been performing here tonight with this race here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park?
I'm going to have to go with that 55 at Steven Spees. This is not a guy that runs a full schedule. He runs mostly dirt. It's a Gambler Motorsports car, so, a teammate, but I am kind of wondering if that car is going to pass through tech as good as he's been tonight, but good run for him. I'm glad to see it. And everybody else is pretty much on par, or, where they normally are. And, we're going to get ready to go green here and settle this once and for all.
We're about to see that happen as the pace car pulls off. J.R. Shepard, Matthew Thunhorse, Morton Spees, your strong top four have been battling all night. We're going to see them get back at it here once again. J.R. Shepard pulls the trigger and goes, and here comes Morton, and everyone else fires off down the front straightaway. 7 laps to go here at IRP. Down into turns 1 and 2, Shepard holds strong over Thunhorse. Morton tries to follow suit, but here comes Spees to the outside with momentum. Hardin and Belke battle for a top 5 position as they work through the middle of turns 3 and 4. Spees sends it in deep, and he will try to clear him off of turn number 4. Still remains side by side for position.
Yeah, Spees just noses ahead there across the start finish line here, and boy, Morton is really sending it in. And what he's got left of those tires, he's using it now, and why not? There's about 5 laps to go, and we get a caution.
Ooh, big wreck here as the 39 multiple cars go up and around. And is this a continuation of what we saw earlier, as several cars going to take it behind the wall possibly?
This started, it looked like the 80 and the 22 get together, and then being on a restart, everybody's just packed up. And that Talladega style wreck here, kind of a big one there coming out of turn 2.
Multiple cars end over end for one car. I believe that's the 39 machine of Joseph Snyder. And Kevin Moody involved, several other, Chris Davis involved. Just all over the place here on the back straightaway as Davis takes it down pit road.
Yeah, and again, Davis, just wrong place, wrong time. Just a really, really tough night for him altogether. But yeah, this going to be interesting. I don't know. We may go back green. If so, it's going to be probably, a one-lap shootout?
It's going to be close. We're going to have to find out here. We're now approaching 4 laps to go, coming to 3. You might be right. It might be a 1-lap shootout, or it could be ending under caution. So this might be it as we're riding on board with Goodman. Heavy contact for him here in that 28 machine for the New York driver.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if it's a 1 to go or we get a 1-lap shootout, you watch that 9 at 24 and the other guys probably on that bottom. They are really going to send it in deep on the bottom because 1 lap, you don't have to worry about saving those tires anymore. If you got them, use what's left. That's got to be the strategy here.
It certainly is as the field comes across the line. 3 laps to go here today. And we'll find out if we're going to race under green flag conditions or are we going to be racing under yellow here tonight. Of course, we got a lot of great racing action still to come the rest of the season, John. I mean, next week we head off to none other than Five Flag Speedway. Then we head to the hallowed grounds of the North Wilkesboro Speedway and Southern National for a Carolina doubleheader before we head to the Northeast in Oxford Plains in August to kick off the month of August. Then Lanier, Martinsville, Langley. We'll take Labor Day off to enjoy the holidays and round out the championship once again at Myrtle Beach Speedway here on September the 10th. A lot of great tracks still to come. A lot of great racing still to come here on the circuit here for the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen. And we got the 2 to go here in this race. Lights are still on. I think it's safe to say, John, this race will end under caution.
Yeah, and that's going to give JR another win here. But, you really got to tip your hat to Matthew Thunhorst. He overcame that penalty from the back and has got himself up to second. And same thing with Spees there in fourth. Got into an early incident, went all the way to the back and got back up here. So great run to those guys and solid nights for Justin Morton and Austin Belkey and Harden and Kurt Smith here as they're up towards the front.
White flag in the air one more time around for all these competitors. As we are going to end this race under caution. We apologize to all our viewers here tonight for not giving you a green flag finish, but we do have to make sure we get this race completed in the allotted time period as the field will work their way down through the middle of turns 3 and 4, or 1 and 2 for the final time behind Benny, the pace car driver.
Yeah, and you mentioned the other races the rest of the season. But BRL has a lot going on right here on VGN. You can see their street stock division on Sunday or on Friday nights to be broadcast. I did the broadcast last night, and really good racing. So if you get a chance, you can go out to the YouTube page and check out some of the dirt action. But I tell you, the one that I'm looking forward to at the end of this season, we're already in the testing phase with it, but that USAC National Sprint Car Championship is going to be a lot of fun.
It certainly is, as J.R. Shepard will be your winner here at Lucas Oil Raceway. He collects the victory. Thunhorst second. Justin Morton, your top 3. We will speak to them and give you the full field rundown as you're watching the BRL Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen on the Virtual Grip Network. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Virtual Grip Network's coverage of the Bootleg Racing League Super Late Model Series presented by Gargamel's Kitchen, live from the Virtual Lucas Oil Raceway Park, or IRP, as we're going to give you your full field rundown. It's J.R. Shepard, your race winner, over Matthew Thunhorse, followed by Justin Morton third, Steven Spees in fourth, with Austin Belkey in fifth. Sixth position will be none other than Jeffrey Hardin, with Kurt Smith in seventh, and Joe Segala will be your pole sitter next race at 5 flags. Ninth is Donnie Moore, and rounding out your top 10 is Brian Dean.
And he started 11th. He's going to finish 11th. Is going to be the 87 there, Todd Liston. And 12th will be Bruce Pearson. Chris Wilson's going to bring it home 13th. And Michael Goodman, who we saw have a rough end of his night, is going to come home 14th. 15th will be Joseph Snyder, followed by Kevin Moody. 17th is going to be another driver that had a tough night tonight. It's going to be the number 7 of Chris Davis. Stephen Hilbert will be 18th, and rounding out the field tonight is going to be the number 19 of Mr. Ryan Seneker.
A lot of great racing action here tonight as we now speak to our race winner, the one, the only, Mr. J.R. Shepard. We'll give him a moment to get up into the booth. As we speak with our race winner, J.R. Shepard joins us here as we're getting his headset hooked on. Of course, he's also, when he's not out there racing, also a broadcaster and commentator for us here at the Virtual Grip Network. As we're waiting on JR to finish up. There he is. JR Shepard, do you have a copy?
I've got you, Taylor.
Well, JR, I mean, another strong performance for you here tonight. Your thoughts on the racing action, and did you have anything to hold off Matthew if we were able to stay green?
Yeah, I was definitely saving a lot of car there throughout that race. Didn't want to see the 9 cautions that we had. We was really hoping to have a lot of green flag racing. It's just better to be in a rhythm, and you could really control the pace of the race pretty well. But yeah, I was definitely going to fight hard for the win tonight.
Talk to us a little bit about how this racetrack is so unique with all the different racing grooves that you can go out there and race on compared to some of the other circuits we've already raced this season.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the tracks that we go to end up being single groove tracks, and it's really unfortunate, especially on restarts, if you line up in the non-preferred lane. So, yeah, this was definitely a nice change of pace, but usually this track is just the outside groove and doesn't give you a whole lot of options. But tonight the car had a little bit of freeness into it, at least on throttle, so that gave us more options than what we normally have here.
Well, before we let you go, JR, anyone you would like to say thank you to?
Yeah, just thanks to the Bootleg Racing League for everything that they do, and to Gargamel's Kitchen for being a great title sponsor. They've been around for several seasons, so really appreciate them being on as a partner. And of course to my team, Different Path Motorsports. Looks like Austin had a pretty good night tonight, finishing 5th. So that was cool to see. And of course to you guys at the Virtual Grip Network, we really appreciate you guys.
Of course, that is J.R. Shepard, your race winner. As we now move to Matthew Thunhorse, Mr. Evie. He is going to be with John Hine.
Hey, Matt, this is John. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, man, I tell you what, hard charging it all the way through the field here. You're able to come from the back and work your way all the way up to second on a night that was filled with carnage. How did you get up there and not get caught in a lot of the chaos?
To be honest with you, I'm not quite sure myself, because I basically had the action shot for the first 4 cautions, almost became the 5th caution, and kind of after that, I mean, there were, like I jokingly said to the Discord guys, like, oh, I've tested the brake tonight, it's working pretty good, so, yeah, and then I can't honestly remember what happened in the mid part, but once I got up there to 5th, I just had an amazing restart to snipe Austin and Steven, and then we got that another restart, and I got Justin kind of doing that off the corner slide job kind of thing I was doing to get the car to cut, and my heart was probably doing about 130, 140 in my throat, and I was just going nuts, and then I don't know. I had someone watching over me tonight with all the stuff going on and just the way things worked out, John. So
well, sometimes it pays to be a little more lucky than good, and I think you proved that here tonight for sure. But yeah. From what you're saying anyway, and I'll tell you this, though, the chaos at the end, the restarts, and you said that you were able to get a good jump. Walk me through mentally what having all those restarts at the end did for you. How did you keep your focus and bring it home?
Well, I knew when I was in fifth, kind of from the way the speed was with Austin and Steven, that kind of being in fifth there, as long as I got a good jump and I think fended Jeffrey off, I was in kind of a mode to attack, and I was able to do just that. Steven got a little tied up getting with Justin, and at that point it's just straight attack. And then, you know, we had that second one. I was like, oh, so many things go wrong. I'm going to lose podium, and then somehow it went the other way. And then honestly, when I restarted second, that was the most comfortable I felt. Where I had a shot at JR, and I just didn't get it done there. But you know, it's just that restarting in second and fifth, those were nuts. That especially that second one and third, where it's just like I said, my heart immediately went into my throat going into one. It's like I looked in the mirror, the spotter didn't call clear, but I was like, if I do this line right, I'm gonna be clear off. And it just worked out that way. And so it was intense. I mean, that's probably the hardest I've ever driven in BRL tonight. So it's just, this race was absolutely nuts.
Well, again, congratulations on a second place finish coming from the back. Who would you like to give a shout out to for a great run here tonight?
You know, just all the guys at BRL. I mean, Lowell putting this on. I mean, it's a lot of fun doing this every Saturday night. And, you know, to have Gargamel's Kitchen, you know, sponsoring us again this season, huge thanks to them. And John, just you, Trevor, and Taylor, you know, for you know, doing the broadcast, and everybody else at Virtual Grip that helps put this on. And you know, all the guys and gals that watch us, you know, either live or later when we go on whenever the video posts on YouTube. So just thanks to everybody that watches, and you know, I hope, despite kind of being a little caution filled, we put on a good show and everybody enjoyed it. So thanks to everybody involved, though.
Well, thank you very much. Once again, that's Matthew Thunhorst, our runner-up tonight.
And of course, rounding out your podium is none other than Justin Morton, who joins us now here in the booth. Justin, a strong performance for you all night. Come home with a podium finish. Talk to us about the difficulty. What were you missing to try to battle with J.R. Shepard for that race win?
Yeah, I don't really quite know what I was missing. Maybe just a little pace here and there. I feel like on that last long run we had, I may have had something for him. I don't know if I would have been able to get a move done necessarily, but I was keeping up with him pretty good there. Then Matt came up on us, and I don't know, he just got by me on that restart, and wasn't really much left I could do there, but I managed to pull down and finish third, battling Steven there at the end.
Well, before we let you go and celebrate this victory, your thoughts on the next round at Five Flags?
Yeah, I like Five Flags. It's really good in these cars. I have quite a bit of time running there. So that should be good for experience-wise and knowing how to get it done. So look forward to it.
Anyone you would like to say thank you to, Justin?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team, Total Downforce Racing, Pixel Dust for the great paint, Gargamel's Kitchen for sponsoring the league, and Lowell for running this league, and the great group of guys that are with us. And thank you guys for doing the broadcast. You do a great job.
That is Justin Morton coming home in P3 here tonight. As John, got to come to you for final thoughts for the tonight's racing action here at Lucas Oil.
Well, you know, Five Flags is a week away. These guys are going to have to get to the shops, or virtual shops, and get some panels straightened out on these cars. And I expect another good one next Saturday night.
Well, with that, it is time we come to a close. Of course, tonight's broadcast is brought to you by Gargamel's Kitchen. Gargamel's Kitchen is a food-grade nitrous oxide provider located in Denver, Colorado, and a proud sponsor of the Bootleg Racing League. Visit their office at 2045 South Valentia Street or give them a call at 720-707-6178. With that, it is time we say goodnight. For John Hine, my co-host, Trevor Greenfield, our producer, and all of the managing members here at the Bootleg Racing League and the Virtual Grip Network, I'm Taylor Burris. This has been a production of the Virtual Grip Network, as we'll see you next Saturday night at Five Flags. Of course, the next VGN broadcast is July the 12th with the PGRL Premier Series live from the new Atlanta Motor Speedway. Good night, everyone.
Wow.